From singing competitions to wealthy housewives to going from bachelorette to fiance, I think it's fair to say that we've all dabbled in watching a little bit of reality TV. But what does it really take to get casted onto one of these shows? Well, one of my very good friends, she's in the business and works as a Hollywood casting director and producer. She's always looking for fresh faces. So I invited her to come on our show and share some stuff with you. I have known her since we were in the single-digit age, and I also love to remind her that she will always be one day older than me. And live from Hollywood to tell us what it takes to make the cut is Tiffany DeHio. Hey, Tiff.
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, and I'm so excited to share with everyone what you do because it's pretty cool. You cast shows. Can you describe what exactly you're doing and how you cast and produce a show?
Reality casting is really fun and really interesting. And basically what we're looking for are everyday people from all walks of life all over the United States. So it starts with a really inclusive internet search through social media and just reaching out to different businesses and sometimes doing open casting calls and then getting to know people and their everyday life and what it is that they have to share with the world. So a lot of fun stuff there. Sometimes we might stop you on the street and be like, hey, would you want to win some money on a game show? Like, these are absolutely things that happen.
Wow. So tell everybody, what are some of the biggest, most popular projects that you've worked on?
I worked on some really fun stuff, especially recently. I cast a game show for ABC called Holy Moly. Super fun.
Oh, I know that one.
So, yeah, that's a good one. I also did The Circle for Netflix, which was a big hit earlier this year. And Next in Fashion also for Netflix. I've done some other stuff like Minute to Win It for NBC. Naked and Afraid is a big one. And Wipeout was a really big game show I worked on as well.
Oh, goodness. Naked and Afraid. I can only imagine what that might have included in the casting process. Do you have a crazy, unique, shocking moment or, event that someone did to get your attention because they really wanted to be cast? And did it work? Did you cast them?
It's interesting because sometimes when we do open casting calls, like hundreds and thousands sometimes of people show up, and a lot of people dress up in weird costumes. A lot of people bring their babies and really try to do something crazy that makes them stand out. It doesn't always work, but we've had some really funny people show up in like cow costumes and clown costumes and then had to make them take it off because I got to see your face. You know what I mean? But that kind of like gumption is always really positive.
I'm sure people think they have to be like larger than life or do something really, out of the ordinary to get your attention. I'm sure that casting has also been affected because of the COVID pandemic, right?
Absolutely. The good thing is we can cast a lot of things remotely, even all over the United States. I mean, we're doing Skype interviews with people from as far away as Alaska and Hawaii and able to select our cast that way. But it's definitely put a damper on things like open casting calls, which are great because you get a lot of energy from people. And going to places all over the U.S., like smaller towns in smaller markets, is a great way to find people who would normally apply for TV shows. So that's something we've had to sacrifice.
So I guess you just have an eye. You maybe know what you're looking for. You know how to spot someone who has that it factor. Now, I said a lot of people, they want to be on TV. How do you pick who you want?
I definitely go for people who are open to being vulnerable and being completely authentic, because part of your experience in being on a TV show is telling your story, and that includes sometimes things that maybe you don't normally talk about in everyday life and are afraid to really address. Hardships, things you've gone through, things you've had to overcome. Those are all things that make you authentic and make you someone memorable that people can watch and say, hey, that person's going through something I went through. I want to see them win $1 million, or I want to see them, make it to the end. So those types of people, of course, great energy, a lot of personality, and great big smiles are always good too.
Well, we always think, okay, they're casting that person because they're, so much drama or they're, extra. I know you do Q&A sessions on your Instagram because a lot of people want to ask you these questions and get those secrets so they can be a star. What is it that people really want to know?
People really want to know something we talked about, how to stand out. How do I make myself different from everybody else? And I always tell people, really dive deep to the weird, quirky stuff that you wouldn't think of. Like, is your dog your best friend? Did you win a baking contest at work? Like, little details like that in your everyday life are fun to hear because they make you excited. And you light up when you talk about those types of things. So that's one thing that people always want to know. People also always want to know how to find out about casting, and Google is your friend. Definitely always do research on every show and make sure the person you're talking to who says they're casting that show is authentic. It's very
nice.
easy to verify who's involved.
Okay, we only have a little bit of time left. Real quick, what was your favorite project and what are you looking for right now?
Favorite projects would probably be Naked and Afraid, because it's my dad's favorite show. So that was a big one for me. The Circle was great because I got to shoot that in the UK, and that was fun. I also loved working on Minute 20 because I went all over the United States. Right now, what I'm looking for is a new, we're doing a new show for a company called All Three, and we're looking for dynamic, funny pairs of people who are just opinionated and love to share their thoughts and stuff like that. So it's a brand new show, and this is
Very
how
nice,
gets made.
Tiffany. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your insight. If you want to get more of her insight, you can find her on Instagram at Tiffany Casting, and that is